Welcome, viewers. On December 3rd, 2003, in Bangalore, Karnataka, 27-year-old Girish and 21-year-old Shubha got engaged. Just 3 days later, Shubha called her fiancé Girish and asked him out for dinner. Girish agreed and told her to get ready, saying he would pick her up. As promised, Girish picked her up on his bike, and they headed to a restaurant. After enjoying their meal, Shubha expressed her love for watching planes land and suggested they visit the area near the airport. Girish agreed and took her to a secluded spot in Koramangala city where they could see the airplanes. By the time they arrived, it was around 9:30 p.m. Unaware that death was approaching, Girish parked his bike and stood in a dark, quiet street with Shubha, watching planes land. Suddenly, 2 men on a bike saw them and approached. Without warning, one of the men struck Girish on the head with an iron rod, causing him to lose consciousness and fall to the ground. As Shubha stood there alone, a light appeared in the distance, scaring off the attackers, who fled quickly. In shock and disbelief, Shubha screamed Girish's name and ran to him. Seeing him lying unconscious and bleeding from the head, she panicked and began crying. Summoning all her courage, Shubha tried to stop passing cars and bikes for help, but seeing the injured Girish, everyone passed by without stopping. In such dark places, people often hesitate to stop, fearing robbery or worse. Luckily, an elderly couple driving by heard Shubha's cries and stopped to help. Shubha explained what had happened, and they took pity on Girish, rushing him to the hospital. News of the attack shocked Girish's parents, who immediately headed to the hospital and filed a police complaint. The police began their investigation, but the culprits thought they had left no evidence behind. However, a talented police officer made a breakthrough by observing the suspect's body language. The investigation unfolded, marking the first time in Karnataka's history that such a case was solved using body language analysis. So what really happened to Girish that night, and how did the police uncover the culprits? In today's video, we will dive deep into the case that shook Karnataka in 2003, a case solved through sheer investigative intelligence. You are watching True Crime Courtesy, and I am your host. Officer Anaya took charge of the investigation and visited the hospital to question Shubha. He asked her about the attacker's appearance and whether she noted the bike's number. Shubha, still shaken, said she couldn't remember anything but confirmed there were 2 people involved. Next, the officer spoke to Girish's parents to see if he had any enemies. They described him as a calm person who never bothered anyone, making it unlikely that he had enemies. Initially, Officer Anaya suspected that the attack was a robbery gone wrong, as the crime scene was known for such incidents. But the next morning, around 8:05 a.m., Girish tragically passed away, turning the assault case into a murder investigation. As the investigation dragged on for 45 days with no leads, Officer Anaya approached the case differently. He requested to see the engagement video of Girish and noticed something peculiar. Everyone was happy, except for one person. That person's body language stood out, prompting the officer to delve deeper. He quickly went to Shubha's house and asked to check her phone. Shubha handed it over, and upon reviewing her call records, the officer discovered she had called someone 73 times on the day of the incident. The number belonged to 19-year-old law student Arun Varma. Arun was brought in for questioning. When asked if he knew Girish, he denied it and claimed he wasn't even in town on December 3rd. The officer let him go, but secretly traced his phone calls, uncovering a shocking twist. Arun immediately called someone in a panic, confessing that he was scared after being questioned by the police. The person on the other end reassured him. Little did they know, the officer was tracing the call and discovered that the person Arun was speaking to was none other than Shubha herself. It was then revealed that Shubha was the mastermind behind the murder, and Arun was her accomplice. They had planned Girish's murder with the help of a local rowdy named Venkatesh, who they had hired to carry out the attack. Despite previous failed attempts, Shubha lured Girish out on December 3rd, leading to his death. When confronted, Arun confessed everything to the police, revealing how Shubha and he plotted the murder because Shubha didn't want to marry Girish. They believed they could get away with it, but Officer Anaya's sharp instincts uncovered their plan. The case ultimately led to the arrest of all 4 conspirators, marking a historic moment in Karnataka's legal system, as phone records and body language were used as key evidence for the first time. Though the case dragged on for years, in 2010, all 4 were sentenced to life in prison. However, Shubha appealed and was released on bail in 2014, showing no remorse for her actions. Her arrogance in court shocked everyone, as she appeared proud of what she had done. In hindsight, Shubha could have simply expressed her disinterest in marrying Girish, but instead, she chose to commit murder. Even as a law student, she made a calculated plan to eliminate an innocent person, believing the law couldn't touch her. But thanks to the brilliance of Officer Anaya, justice was served. So SD investigators, what's your opinion on this case? Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments and let us know what case you want us to cover next. The best comment will be featured in our next video. See you in the next one. Thank you and goodbye.